you're doing well.
This meeting is being recorded.
All right, I'm actually gonna do a quick screen share of somebody in the office. We're just gonna pull up the data. If you haven't or don't know what FIRST is, kind of the best way I can explain it is that it's a targeted outreach program. And what I mean by that is it's an app that you download on your phone. It syncs to your phone contacts and then runs AI and tells you who's most likely to list in the next 6 to 12 months. Now, when I say targeted outreach, the flip side to that is there's like a statistic out there that says, 8 RE/MAX agents who use FIRST will get 8 listings in the first 3 months. But the way that statistic really reads is RE/MAX agents using FIRST will get 8 listings in the first 3 months. So I just like to make that difference. And what I mean by targeted outreach is this. So if we're looking at my screen here, this person uploaded 2,299 contacts. If I got on here today and was like, hey, let's call 2,300 people, you could slap me. Like that would just not make sense, right? So what the app starts doing is starts doing some cleanup. It removes some junk, it removes some duplicate, it removes some realtors. It will not have got all of them, I can almost guarantee, right? Like nothing's perfect. We still probably have some manual cleanup to do, but it does a good job. It went from over 2,000 to a little over 1,500. From there, the important thing that it does is it actually pulls in addresses. So I don't know about you. For me, I have first name, maybe last name, and then like a telephone number. I certainly don't have first name, last name, full address for my contacts. So that's why I think it's important. It pulls in those addresses for you, which is pretty nice. And then from there, it runs the AI. So it uses about 700 public data points plus internet searches. It could be things like size of the house, equity in the home, how long they've been there. It could be things like life events, marriage, divorce, kids, adopting a dog. It could be something like the school zone got redistricted where they live, so that might change things for them. And it takes all of those data points together and combines them, meshes them to kick out these star ratings. And very, very technically, the algorithm actually ranks the entire US population. So you can say a 3-star contact is 90% more likely to list than your average US homeowner, a 2-star is around 85, and a 1-star is around 75. So in this case, we went from 2,299 contacts down to a targeted 461. And that's really what the app's doing, is it's saying, hey, let's not try to call all of these people or reach out to all of these people. Let's see what we can do with these people. They have a higher chance of success. Now, on the flip side, and I don't like to call these leads because they're like people in your phone, but if I gave you 500 leads, like would all of them be perfect? No, right? Like that's just not really how it works. Same thing here. And I think what's happened a lot of times, has anyone, you guys can come off mute, I'm interactive, like, has anyone used the app before? Has anyone tried it, got it downloaded yet?
I've got it downloaded and all the contacts are in.
Cool. And did some of them, and this is what I think happens sometimes, Bob, is you look at some of them and you're like, no, right? You're like, no, that doesn't make sense. No, I wouldn't, right? And
I already sold them a house.
Right, yeah, something like that, right? Which is great. But the problem is when you say to yourself, when you're starting with new tech and you say to yourself, no, you're almost setting yourself up to not use it again, right? You're like, if this isn't gonna work, I'm just gonna stop using it and I'll go do something else with my time. And I'll give you the example that I had here. I had an agent came up to me, he said, hey, one of my 3-star contacts is my deceased grandfather. And I said, okay, I'm really sorry to hear that. Can you tell me a little more? And he goes, he's been living with me for the past 2 years. And I was like, okay, well, if we put 2 and 2 together, you're a real estate agent. All the stuff you do online has to do with that. His name got associated with that. So that's how it it tricked the algorithm and came in. But in his mind, because 1 didn't make sense, he didn't think the rest made sense. So like in this case, that'd be like saying this one doesn't make sense, so now the next 460 people don't make sense. And I think that is where people have got hung up. So what I'm going to show you guys today, I'm going to hop into the app. I'm actually going to hop into my app. So not the demo account. We're going to hop into like my app and real contacts in my phone. And I'm going to show you my suggestion for kind of getting started. And again, if you guys have questions, please feel free to shout it out. I'm going to pull this up. All right. So come on. All right. So I went ahead and pulled up the app. So it's First by Remax. I pull that up. Like I said, this is my app, not the demo account. So in my case here, I had 731 contacts. It got me down to 143 start opportunities. What I suggest doing initially, I actually suggest skipping the daily recommendations because I think they're actually more confusing than they're worth. Again, if you see a couple people in there that don't make sense to you, then the app's starting to not make sense. And I don't think that that's helpful. So scroll past it, no worries. I'm going to come into my start opportunities, start contacts. And then I'm going to do this, Bob. I'm going to delete 5 people that I don't want to talk to through the app. I call it 5 and 5. And why I want to do that is I just want a cleaner, like I want to look at the cleanest data possible. So if I know Elias is actually a coworker of mine, right? I talk to him on a daily basis. I probably wouldn't reach out to him through the app for any particular reason. So I can click on his name, I can scroll to the bottom, and I delete contact. I'm doing 5 of these because I want to get it clean. And then past that, I'm going to scroll kind of slowly, not like race past, to decide somebody that I do want to reach out to. All right, I'll give an example here. This is Eric Collins. This is a guy that I used to work with when we were out in California. I can scroll down. Yep. I like to check that the address makes sense, especially for me. I've lived a lot of places. So Irvine, California. Yep, that looks right. If that is right, I can just click yes owned. So I just confirm it. You get confetti for everything you do well in the app. And now I can reach out to Eric, right, directly from the app. And that's going to come from me, from my phone. I'm going to click text. I'm actually kind of scared because I don't know what the last time. There you go. Thanks, man. Chat soon. So I was like, I don't know. The last time I talked to this guy was years ago. Like I've moved from California to London and back, right? So this has probably been 4 or 5 years. So let's say that I sent him a text. When I come back into the app, this is the important thing to click. This set next step. And I'll tell you why. If we actually do 5 and 5, so if we actually delete 5 people a day and then reach out to 5 people a day, that's 25 new people you're talking to in a week. I don't know about you, I'd be lost. So the app will actually help you to set reminders with those people. So I can click set next step, and then I can decide how I want to reach out to this person, right? So maybe I've sent him 2 texts already and he hasn't responded. Well, then you know what? I'm not going to do the same thing again and again and again, because that's the other question I always get asked, like, what's the cadence? I don't know, 2 or 3 texts tops, and then I'm either going to call, email them, send them like, look them up on LinkedIn or Facebook or something like that. But let's say I'm going to tell myself, I'm going to call him tomorrow, and then add that next step, get my confetti. I'm going to close out of here and come back to my homepage. And then right there, call Eric Collins tomorrow. So now the app is actually going to send me a notification tomorrow saying, hey, by the way, Frank, you said you wanted to reach out to Eric. Do you want to go ahead and do that now? Right? And that's how you kind of set these next steps to help you remember where you are. Now, say that Eric responded to me and I don't need this next step. No problem. Just click it and delete the next step. It's like not the end of the world either way, but it's nicer to have some reminder than not have a reminder. Okay. Bob, have you called? Have you texted? Have you emailed? What have you done when you've reached out to some people?
I haven't done that through the app. Not
Okay.
yet.
Okay, cool. But like you see, right, you're going to reach out. It's going to come from your phone number, which is also nice. The other thing you can do, so say that I click on somebody, if I reach out to them, if I call or text or email from the app or social, it will log a connection. It'll log that. So like you can see here, Elias, I texted Thursday and Wednesday. Because I work with Elias, I actually did text them because we were doing this, I was running one of these again. The other cool thing is you can add a note. So like you can add notes in here. I can click in that, and I can also, like dictate the notes if I prefer to do it that way by clicking that little microphone. So one way or the other, I can get some notes in here. The use case I'll give you for this is I have a gentleman, he's set 1,800 next steps. So he's clicked that blue button a lot, right? And what he'll do every now and then is he'll copy and paste one of the texts from the conversation into here, just so he kind of has an idea of where he's at with that person. And then if he's like going through quickly, he can just kind of see rather than pull up his text box. He doesn't do every text. He doesn't copy and paste everything. Just like every now and then, if something makes sense or he wants to follow up on something in the conversation, he'll copy and paste it in here. Does anyone have any questions on any of that so far?
Lynette asked here, can you
Yep.
send a video text message?
Yes. So if I'm going to click text, again, Lynette, it pulls up my text box, right? So like my text app, I can click in there and send a video, right? Like a normal, it's just whatever kind of text you want, you're going to send it through your normal app anyway. All right. Past that, so that's really like the best place in my mind to start, which is 5 and 5. You're going to delete 5 that don't make sense, that are bugging you. Like for me, I'm here. Like that's me, that's my name. So there's no reason for me to keep it. The other thing I'll say is if you delete somebody from the app, you're just deleting them from the app. You're not deleting them from your phone, right? So you still want to keep this contact, no problem. You're just deleting it from the app. You're just getting it cleaned up. Now, last week, I'm going to go ahead and share kind of what we were doing last week, Alex, that I thought was pretty helpful, right? Because the other question that I get asked a lot is basically like, what the hell do I say, right? Like, what do I say to somebody I haven't talked to in 5 years? Like, where do I start this conversation, please, right? So I'm going to pull up something I've been working on. This is rough. Like, I really mean it. I've been working on this since last week, basically. So it's going somewhere else to get pretty again. But I think there's some useful information that I think they found helpful last week. So I'd love to share it again.
I agree.
In this, it really kind of just boils down to, thanks, Alex, I appreciate that actually. It really just boils down to kind of how you know them. And again, thinking of this not as a CRM, not as like a database, but as again, targeted outreach. So the app is saying you need to talk to some people because that's what we should be doing anyway. So what sales tactics would we use to reach out to people that we haven't talked to in a while? So the first place that my mind goes with that is this, right? Like the initial 3 icebreakers that I was ever taught, and I come from door-to-door sales and a sales training background, right? Was like weather, small joke, or sincere compliment. The problem with that is if you haven't talked to them in 5 years, that might not work, right? Like it might, and if it can, great. We had a brush fire up here. I live up in the mountains in Colorado. Like we had a brush fire up here almost around the corner. So if somebody like saw that in the news, knew where I lived and reached out to me asking if I was okay, yeah, I'd respond to that. Like it was kind of scary, right? But like if past that, these things aren't going to work, then this is the scripting that I've worked with that guy that set 1,800 next steps. And like, he's used the app for 1.5 years. He attributes about 45 to 50 listings to the app. 2 of them in February came from one person he hadn't talked to since 2007. The other, somebody he hadn't talked to since 2010. And this is basically kind of what he says. We call it sincere apology scripting. And what that really means is, I don't know, have you guys ever been too embarrassed to like talk to somebody because it's almost been like too long? Like, has that ever happened to you where you're like, I don't feel comfortable reaching out anymore because it's been 2 years or 5 years, or you just feel like you missed your chance to say hi, like maybe a while ago, a decade ago, I don't know. A couple things I'll say to that. One, COVID. COVID happened for everybody. That's not a bad excuse, if you will, and you can talk to that. But the way that we look at sincere apology scripting is you're just taking the embarrassment out of this equation. You're taking the blame yourself and you're trying to release them from that embarrassment. So, hi, Alex. I'm so sorry I haven't been in touch recently. Was thinking about you the other day and just wanted to reach out and say hi. Do you have any time to catch up this week? If you actually sent that to 5 people that you know decently well that you haven't talked to in over 5 years, I bet you somebody would respond at some point. If for no other reason than like people do want to connect again, right? I think for me, with everything that's happened, I have a smaller circle that's tighter and I've lost touch with a lot of people, right? I just like, because I probably would have seen them in person, but I haven't. So I don't talk to them as much. But if I said something like that, somebody would respond. Now, if we're going to talk best practices within the app, again, set the next step, right? Maybe set it for a week later. If they respond within that week, great, you're already talking, you delete the next step. If not, at least you're getting a reminder to say another text. Now, maybe that second text is this. Hey, Alex, I hope you're doing well. I reached out last week and just wanted to say hi. I know we haven't talked in a while, but was just wondering how you were doing. I would add something to how you know this person, right? If they're a previous coworker, a family friend, or something like that, I would add a little bit more personal juice, if you will, in there. But regardless, you know, you've sent a text a week to this person. You're not really bugging them, and you're just trying to see how they're doing. The other thing with this is sincere, right? You're just genuinely trying to catch up. So best practice, set a next step again, right? Again, the app will prompt you to set a next step. Maybe change the method of contact, you know, this time to call. But if you want to send like one more text, hi, Alex, just figured I'd, you know, maybe you pull in their Facebook and you message them on Facebook, which you can do in the app. I'll show you when we hop back in there, right? Hi, Alex, just figured I'd try you on Facebook. Like, looks like you're doing really well. And I hope we get the chance to reconnect. I feel like the time jumped with COVID there. Let me know if you got time to catch up soon. Okay, I'm asking because this is fairly new and I want feedback. What are your guys' thoughts on that? How could that be improved? Does that feel like something comfortable enough to actually send? I genuinely love some feedback here. Bob, what do you think? Is that something that seems doable? You're still on mute, sorry.
Here I am. I think it works. I just thinking of different scenarios that I might use on different people.
Yep. I think that's the biggest thing, Bob. Like, these are still people in your phone. It's not super cold, right? It just might be old, but not cold, possibly. So how would you maybe rephrase some of that?
I don't think I'm right there at rephrasing. I'm just thinking of different types of contexts. I mean, you've got, like you said, people you've worked with, people that have been friends. Then you also have people that you've met once at an open house. Yep. So context is going to change based on kind of how you know your contact.
For sure. And I think that's actually the power of the app. So like, this is AI, right? And like, I'm a big basketball nerd. So I listened to like a podcast with Mark Cuban, and he was talking about how he uses AI, or they use AI for the Dallas Mavericks to sell season tickets, right? So huge global brand, NBA, using AI to sell some season tickets. Okay, cool. Huge global brand, Remax, putting AI in your pocket, right, to help sell some houses. But the thing is that even like I wouldn't get in a Tesla right now and go cross country and let the car drive me the whole way, right? Like, sorry, I just don't trust the AI enough. So this is kind of the same idea in my mind. Like, it still needs a real estate agent to drive it. It still needs the context of how you know that contact to send an outreach that actually makes sense, rather than like a blank template to 50 cold calls or something like that. Now, there's a couple other things in here that guy does actually. The second one is he calls it current event scripting. And how this works is you're using, because everyone always asks me like, hey, do you have a template? And I'm like, again, it goes back to how you know the person. So like a blank template isn't going to necessarily help. And he doesn't even really have a template. What he'll do is he'll copy and paste something into, or he'll write something out in his notes that has to do with some amount of current event. So what that could be is in January, it could be Happy New Year, right? February, it could have been Valentine's Day. March, it could have been St. Patty's Day, right? And then what he's doing in, January, hey, Happy New Year. We haven't talked in a while. Hope you had a good one. Got any big plans for this year? Would love to catch up, right? In then maybe he'll set a next step for a month out, because that's fine. Then the next month, hey, Alex, did you and your wife do anything special for Valentine's Day? Was thinking of you the other day and just seeing if you had time for a chat. Again, it has to sound like you. Like, if this doesn't sound like you got to make it sound like you. These are just examples. I'm not saying send this verbatim. I'm saying these are some good ideas to get started. Put it in your own voice, but do the outreach. And then the last thing that we had was in the neighborhood scripting. And this is a little bit more real estate direct, so it can work depending on the situation or again, how you know the contact. But, hi, Alex, was in your neighborhood the other day doing a showing, made me think of you. Your area is really hot right now. Do you have any time to catch up? Right? Like, again, we're going back to just normal sales stuff, just using the app to be targeted with it. But these are like impulse factors, like when you talk about impulse and impulse buy, you're using this to just initiate a response. It's why everything I have ends with a question mark, right? Because like you want to invite them to respond back. It's like dating, right? Like you want the person to respond back to you. So you're using impulse factors, fear of loss, urgency, greed, that kind of thing. Jones effect is what the neighborhood scripting is. It's this idea that, people want what other people have, or they don't want to keep up with the Joneses. So you're just tying in. If you can name drop, even better. If you actually were in that neighborhood, hey, Alex, I actually was just at Sally's house down the street from you doing an open house. I know that everything's going crazy in your market right now. Would you like to talk about it, or would you like to see anything about your house right now? Something along those lines. Okay. Did that make sense? Did that help, or could that be used? Does anybody see some use cases there? Again, I'm not trying to say what I say. I'm trying to say use some ideas here, and I think tailor it for you, and you're off to the races.
I did really love Christy Kohlberg's example last time when we were doing this,
Yes.
And Lynette, I could see you really liking this. Debbie, you would like this. Bob, you probably really would too. Christy really likes to ask for suggestions for stuff. So she'll be like, oh, I'm in your neighborhood, and as you know, I'm a big coffee person. Where do you think I should get coffee in this area? Or where's your favorite place to get coffee? And she uses that to generate conversation and to get the ball rolling back with them before getting into necessarily any real estate stuff. And then we've kind of cascaded that into, you can ask somebody for where their favorite place is to get coffee type of thing. And then you can use that information to get them a gift card and do a pop by later on type of stuff. So it's a great way to just get the conversation started with somebody that then can evolve into more business and to a larger conversation later.
Did you guys talk about that pop by after, Alex? Because that's
We
good.
did.
I like it.
That was actually my suggestion. I said with
Oh,
that
all right.
information, I said with that kind of information, that's the type of thing that you could then personalize pop buys and gifts for them. So it's a good way to get to know your client, as well as using that to then create even more of a relationship further on down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. That's actually, I haven't fleshed that out yet, so I didn't, but I was going to share what we had done last week.
Mm-hmm.
What I really like about it is people like to give opinions or recommendations, right? So like you could even say, hey, listen, I got some friends from out of town. I know you're the steakhouse expert. Where would you suggest we go? And maybe that's a second or third text because they haven't responded to, do you have any time to catch up? Because sometimes, I don't know, I don't have any time to catch up, right? Like maybe that question isn't hitting because I'm freaking busy and in my mind, a catch up means we're going to talk for an hour on the phone. And I don't have time for that right now, right? So asking them for the best steakhouse that they love, because people love to talk about stuff that they enjoy, right? Like it at least opens the door. The extra bit with the pop by, that's like gold, Alex. I already wrote that down. So, okay, I came back into the app. This is my point, guys, is like, don't get caught up in the people that don't make sense for you. Again, just go back and delete them. I'll show you one other thing. Let me get my little pen here. This bulk edit button up top. So top left, you got a bulk edit button. I can click that. Just make sure you make some check marks in here, like check them. And then everything down here on the bottom lights up. And I can either delete agent or mark contact. I had an agent at R4, she came up to me. She had like 1,000 starred contacts, right? 1,000 opportunities. And she was like, Frank, this is too much. Like they're not making sense. I don't get it. And I want to clean it up, but I don't have the time to do this like one by one. So I showed her bulk edit. We came in here in like a minute and a half, we deleted 25 people. She was like, this is amazing. This is the one thing I needed. And I followed up with her now in the couple weeks after. She's down to 600. She's been doing 5 and 5. She's been getting a lot of actual responses. She made a group, this group here called Not Sure Who They Are, right? Because when you scroll through here, she was like, I don't know who this person is. I don't know who this person is. So if you click on somebody, you can scroll down, you'll see all the groups that you've created. If I want to put somebody in a group, I just click it, right? And now they're in that group. I can come back into my groups here. There you go, Matt Ennis, right? Is right there. Now and this I guess is the other thing, because people are, I don't know, a little nervous about the outreach, especially if they don't know who they are, or 2, haven't talked to them in a while. She had about 20 people in here. And like one Tuesday, she was like, I'm just going to be brave and I'm just going to text the entire 20 group of, I don't know who they are, right? And just like a gentle, hey, how's it going? We haven't talked in a while, would love to catch up. And in her mind, she thought, what's the worst that's going to happen? And I'll tell you, because the worst did happen. One person responded with, who the hell are you? That was the response back, who the hell are you, right? So 1 out of 20, who the hell are you? Like, I'm again, I come from door to door. I'm like, oh, that's pretty nice, actually. Like, that's great. And you know what she said? She said, oh, I'm so sorry. My name's Philippa. I'm a realtor. I must have got you confused. But while I got you, do you need any help with any real estate, or do you know anybody that does? Right? Like, and just spun it. I'm not going to say like she got a listing out of that, because I really don't know. I haven't followed up with her again after that. But like, if the worst thing that's going to get sent back is who the hell are you, and the best thing you can do to that is try to spin it around anyway, like, I don't see like the real fear. The best success story I've had with this is he reached out to a 3-star contact that he could not for the life of him remember, ended up being a bartender he met 5 years ago. 12 texts later, he got the listing. The guy was looking for a realtor, right? Like, he sat down at a bar, exchanged phone numbers, they forgot each other. right? But it's in his phone. And to your point, Bob, it's like somebody you showed a house once to, right? Like somebody you've met very briefly for a short amount of time. You probably don't remember each other, but if it's coming up as a starred contact, something saying, hey, just reach out. Because the worst that's going to happen is they tell you no, or they don't respond, right? Like that's probably the worst thing that's going to happen here. The best thing that's going to happen is you start a conversation. That's really all you're trying to do. Start a conversation. Because the other text that I like, maybe third, fourth, fifth down the line, after you've got a conversation going, when you tie it back around to real estate, is this like, hey, hey, Alex, I'm sure you remember, or maybe you don't, like I'm in real estate. Do you need any help with that? Or do you know anybody else that does? You're just casting a wider net. Because so many times I've heard, hey, this person said no. The person I reached out to, the 3-star contact, said no. But I got 2 referrals out of it. But they had somebody else for me. It's just, aren't we all trying to network more anyway? That's what this is allowing us to do. It's just directing you to do it. Okay, do I got any more questions or anything?
We're good, right? Oh, there you go.
I got a question.
Sure.
So going through my starred contacts, so I'll check somebody that already purchased, and then I'll go on. The next day, I'll get a reminder that I haven't contacted that person yet. Is there a way to suppress that?
Yeah, so are you setting a next step for them?
No, it wants me to, but that really isn't the next step. I mean, one of them is someone I literally saw 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
But I'm not sure how to get them out of the list.
Is it coming up as a daily recommendation when it sends you the notification?
No, I get it as a kind of just a notification on the iPhone.
Okay.
So it's not it's generated by the app, but it appears on the phone itself.
Yeah.
So then when I go into it, I try to manage it, and I'm not sure how to manage it.
The only thing I would suggest is what I think has happened here, Bob, is it noticed that you like clicked on Scott, right? You looked down, you saw, okay, actually I talked to him last week, and then you exited it. So it's saying, hey, wait a second, don't you want to do something with Scott there? And then it's sending you the notification the next day, right? So you can click here. Do I have that group? Okay, if I click manage, right, I can create any new group. So I'm going to create a new group. This group I actually find helpful 6 to 10 months out, right? Like, because that might be when you would actually want to reach out to them again. Is that fair, like in this case? And then if I put him in that 6 to 10 months out group, I'm guessing that the app will say, okay, he's done something with that contact, right? So if I click on Scott here, if I click it and it's colored, now he's in that 6 to 10 months group. I can come back into my homepage, view all here, 6 to 10 months group, there's Scott Peterson. And my guess would be you would stop getting a notification on that person because you've actually done something. The app believes you've actually done something with them. The other thing I'll point out is if you check the box here, then they show up on your homepage. So I just checked that box, and now my 6 to 10 month group is on my homepage. So if that can help. So if you're like looking on your homepage, you don't see.
Okay.
It doesn't change like putting them in the group. It just changes seeing them on your homepage here. But that's what I would do with that.
Question.
Sure.
Okay, so it only pulls from my phone, right?
Correct. It can pull from, let me show you this. I'm going to click account. You can add an email account if you have like an old email account or another email account, and you can upload a CSV. But the initial, when you download it, it's just going to pull from your phone.
Okay.
Did I confuse you there? I'm sorry. Yes, it only pulls
Okay,
from
okay. I'm technology challenged, okay?
Cool.
And
You got
I did try the app when it first came out, and I got so screwed up, I just deleted it and went on my way. And
Yep.
I'm thinking of maybe trying it again. But so when it pulls to my phone, it pulls from my contact list. Does it pull from my Outlook email? Where does it pull from?
just pulls from your contact list. from your-
Contact list.
Yep.
Okay. If I add another person to my contact list, does it automatically get added, or do I have to go in here and add it?
It automatically gets pulled on a daily basis. It pulls
Okay.
in the morning. So very technically, you add them in the afternoon, it'll pull it in the morning and come through. I'm going to click this account button again. As long as this button is checked, import phone contacts, it's going to pull through for you. So,
Okay.
and it's default checked. So it's going to do it for you. You don't have to do anything. If for whatever reason you poked around it and unchecked it, just make sure that it's checked, and then it will automatically pull new contacts for you.
Okay. But I can upload a CSV file if I need to, like maybe some of the people in my CRM are not currently in my phone.
Yep, you can do that in Mac Center. And it just, I can show us quickly. I'll pull up that. Let me switch over to my screen share. So this is Mac Center, right? You can search for first, or just, it's now the repeat and referral business tile. So if I click that, and then sign up now is sign in if you've already signed. So you'll be in, and then this second one down is import contacts. Import contacts, upload a CSV.
Okay. And it won't get rid of duplicates.
Yep, it'll work to get rid of duplicates. Debbie, nothing's perfect, right? So like,
Oh, we know that, it's a computer.
right? So, you know what I mean? Somebody's been like, oh, there's duplicates. Okay, like delete one and move on, right? Like count it towards your 5 deletes. The more important thing is, are you reaching out to 5 people, 5 of your starred contacts, right? Like, are you trying to connect with somebody that you wouldn't have necessarily connected with if you weren't looking at this app? That's really the point. Because I don't know about you, I don't scroll through my phone contacts.
No, me neither.
Ever. Like, so, and even if I did, I don't know, it wouldn't have all the data, it wouldn't have the address and everything else. So again, let the app do the work, but you've got to do the outreach. So that's the way I look at it. Okay. Lynette, you came on for a second. Did you have a question?
No, I just finally got sat down at my desk. So I was, and
Cool,
then
we like faces. I like faces.
I have a bunch of warranty work happening at my house. So it's just easier to keep the camera off. So.
Okay, fair enough. I hope it's going well. That can be a lot sometimes. Cool. Yeah, like this is the best thing I can say for the app is be like Nike, just do it, right? Like that's all it's asking you to do. Some of it will make sense, some of it won't. Delete contacts that don't make sense. And then see in a month, like give it, if you do 5 and 5 for a month, you'll have reached out or attempted to reach out to 100 people, 100 extra people. That's something we should be doing anyway, right? Like if you follow Buffini or Workman or whatever other system, you know what I mean, that you're doing, they're saying do outreach, right? At R4, I wasn't actually surprised, but I think it's interesting that they talked about, you know, the old school methods are the best, right? Like reaching out to somebody and talking to them, making a phone call, sending a text, shooting an email, like those methods are what works. This newfangled technology, I think to some degree, people thought that this was just going to be a magic wand and give them 8 listings, right? And like, I don't know any magic wand in sales. I've never seen one. So I don't think this is any different there. I'm going to pull up the app again and just show you a couple other things that you can do that may be helpful. And then, like I said, if you got questions, keep shouting them out. Okay. When I come back here into the app, I clicked account. Oops. I clicked account. Up top, you got an export contact to CSV. So what does that mean? So you can export this list that you have, right, to a CSV file, to an Excel file. Now, Debbie, you can go the other way. I know you're tech challenged, so I don't want to go crazy here, but you can export this to a CSV and then plug it into your CRM if that's helpful. I'll tell you the use case for that. I had an agent, she had like 600 3-starred contacts. And in her mind, she was saying to herself, okay, that's 600 people that are 90% more likely to list in the next 6 to 12 months. How do I just quickly reach out to them? I know some of them are good. I know some of them are bad. So she exported the contact list to a CSV. She plugged it into her CRM. And then she emailed a CMA to all of them, right? Again, she didn't want to do 600 emails on her phone. Don't blame her for that, right? She also didn't want to make CMAs on her phone. Again, don't blame her for that. I don't know if you can, right? So she just came onto her desktop and started doing it that way just because she wanted to do that email blasting. Now, I'll tell you this, she didn't even say much in the email, but it was one of the highest open rates, one of the highest response rates she had, because again, she knew people were likely to be thinking about this. She basically said, hey, this is your house, the number's higher than you might have thought. Do you want to talk about it? And that was it, right? So I like that functionality because you'll get the star ratings when you export it as well. So you'll get an idea of what you're working with. Only other thing I'll point out in here, if you're very, very like systematic, this might help. That's actually me in terms of sales. Again, like I said, I come from door to door. So I was like on the never skip a door, knock on this, re-loop, you know what I mean, 3 times a day, hit 120 doors, suck it up, do it again tomorrow, right? Like that's how that worked. So if I come into that feature here in account and click my starred contacts, I actually get, in my mind, I get what I call a double sort. So up top, I've got 3, 2, and 1. And then here, this drop down, I still get a drop down. So for me personally, I would do alphabetical, right? Oops. I would do alphabetical 3, 2, 1. That's what I would do. Again, I don't really care how you want to attack it. I just think doing 5 a day is the important way to do it. But for me, just so like my, ADD or whatever doesn't skip somebody, I would do A's, B's, C's. That's just how I would attack it. But so I might do 5, right? 5 outreaches here, 5 deletes, and then the next day I'd be into my B's, right? And then the next day into my C's. And then when I'm done with all my 3 stars, then I'd do my 2s, then I'd do my 1s. That's, again, I don't know if that's necessarily helpful. If you're like a little neurotic like me, that's where my mind would go. And it's a little hidden. Like you're under account and in starred contacts to find that like double sort feature. Okay. The only other thing I'll say is there's a statistic that says 80% of apps that get downloaded aren't used after 3 weeks. Thanks, Debbie. You proved me right. But I'll cop to this as well, right? Like I told you, I'm sharing my phone here. Okay, that's 3 pages of apps that I have no idea what they are.
How often do you use that Southwest app?
Looks like my phone.
Actually, I'm flying out on Monday by Southwest. These are actually the ones that I all got downloaded almost for Remax or for R4. Yeah. Right, so like dial pad, this is my expenses. Okay, Better Homes and Gardens, I'm trying to do my backyard, right? So like, but I haven't opened it since I've downloaded it 2 weeks ago, right? So my suggestion, like in reality, I just want you to think about how you use apps on your phone. What do you do when you wake up? At some point during that time frame in the morning, you hop on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, email, like one of those things that aren't making a phone call, even though it's called a phone, right? And you do all these other things. So my suggestion is put it somewhere prominent. For me, that would be this blank space. I text all day, I Slack for work, I WhatsApp with some international friends. This is my work email. Somebody messed up my email. Don't make fun of me for having 31,000. Okay. Everyone always points that out. So somebody messed with it. I haven't had time to fix it. I am actually on top of my emails. See, one, and that came in while we were doing this. So my point, right, is put this somewhere that you'll use it. Maybe it's next to Facebook because that's what you end up spending 20 minutes of downtime a day doing. And instead of Facebooking for 20 minutes, you send 3 texts. Or you look them up, you find somebody on the app and then look them up in Facebook and then send 2 texts. Doesn't matter to me, but you need to put it somewhere that you'll actually use. And I'll tell you this, so many people came up to me at R4 and was like, kind of like you, Debbie, like, I've had the app and I don't know what I'm doing with it. And I was like, okay, cool. Can you pull it up on your phone? And we spent like 3 minutes trying to find it on their phone, right? At one point I was like, just search for it. Like, we'll get there. But if you don't know where the app is, it's certainly not working for you, right? Like, and I think that is a small thing, but actually kind of a big thing of how you actually use the app. Okay.
I have another dumb question because like
I
I
like-
said, I don't know
I
about
like
it.
questions. You're good.
Okay, the app is only on your phone. You can't do any kind of management from a computer or an iPad.
Correct.
Okay,
From an iPad, yes, it's a mobile app. So you can download it onto an iPad,
oh,
right?
okay.
but it is not for desktop.
Okay, but you can't, good, because I can see better on the iPad.
There you go. Yep. If you got a little like a keyboard for your iPad or just the larger
Yep.
screen, any of those things are totally
Okay.
doable. So
I'm sure
Any-
someone has said where this is located, but I'm trying to find it. Where is the app?
if you're in your app store and you just search for First Buy Remax, it's probably the easiest way. And let me know if that works.
Jen,
Okay.
to do the initial setup though, you should go through your Mac Center. So if you search the tile and search for it in your Mac Center profile, you actually do the sign up there, and then it will text you a link to the app.
Yeah. Or
And then
or
Frank,
a
Lynette-
QR code.
Yeah, Lynette also asked here, how much does it cost?
Oh, it is free for 60 days and then $465 a year after that. And I'll say $465 a year again, because somebody once heard me say a month, and that's a pretty big difference. So you're looking at like a little less than $40 a month for the year. Obviously, the goal is to try to get a listing, in those first couple months when it's free, first 2 months when it's free, pays for itself a couple times over at that point. But thank you. I've talked to this office a couple times, so I just kind of didn't throw that one out there yet.
You've gotten used to us.
Yeah, exactly.
And then all of you guys, so Lynette, you've probably had it at one point, and Debbie, you guys probably have. I guess kind of just let me know if any of you guys are still paying for it currently, or have used it and then didn't after the trial period. We can kind of see what we can do with getting you guys kind of rebooted on some of these ones. If you used it 2 years ago, there's been leaps and strides since then. I know it rolled out at R4, I think 2019, I want to say.
Yeah, it got purchased in 2019. So
yeah, so it rolled out at R4 2019, and lots of our agents downloaded it and used it in that first, literally they downloaded it at R4 2019 and then used it. And then some of them have fallen by the wayside, and that was 2 years ago. The app has made leaps and bounds since then in ways of everything from the user interface to how it works with everything. And it continues to be worked on. So it's one of those things that if you used it like back in the day, a couple of years ago, reach out to me or to us and let me know, because we might be able to get you back on it and try that trial period out again.
yeah,
I would like to do that, Alex.
Okay.
I did it when Nate first started recommended it when it first came out. And
Yeah, 2 years ago.
I deleted it and just went on about,
Mhm.
but I'm
Yeah.
willing to try it again.
we got her.
Hi, this is Oscar. Hello.
Hi, Oscar.
Hey, is anybody using it on their iPad? I've tried to in the past, but it only shows me like the sideways version. If I'm on a keyboard, it doesn't put it upright, or it doesn't put it on the right. I can't make it work.
It doesn't turn. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bree.
So it's a setting on the actual iPad. If you pull your screen down from the top, you can lock it so it doesn't do that.
I
So it's
haven't
like
used it on the iPad actually.
I was like, my iPad is here somewhere. But if you, from the top of your iPad screen, it would be the same way that it works on your phone. So like if you go to pull your screen down from here, it gives you these different options. And one of them is going to be, see, that's like white, but it's right here next to the screen mirroring. And it'll actually show you that you can lock it. So that way you can keep it at the right angle that you want it instead of it flipping the other way.
I've accidentally done that on my phone a few times. I've gone to switch it
Yeah.
and go, why isn't it doing it? And it's because, well, it's usually my son. My
Yeah,
son turned on the lock screen.
I keep mine constantly locked because I don't like when it flips around. So
Cool. Thank you, Oscar. Are you enjoying the
Yeah,
app?
I'm probably gonna still call somebody to help me with this because I mean, I have an Android phone, so going to the iPad, it's not as simple as for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can definitely help you with anything that you need for any of that type of stuff. Never hesitate to reach out or anything like that.
I'm gonna just pull up my screen again and see if I can share that like really quick.
Should be able to.
Yeah, I think so. So Oscar, what Bree's saying is like, I'm gonna slide down from the top right here and I get this screen. And then there's this, let me grab my,
Yeah, I
there's
tried
that.
doing that, but I don't get anything.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, we can play with it at the office if we need, Oscar.
Yeah. Alex to the rescue.
Yeah, don't worry, Oscar. We got you. I got you.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay. Well, I guess, does anyone else have any other questions?
I just have kind of a quick question. So people that are just going on Zillow, checking out their home value, are they gonna register as somebody looking to buy and sell in 6 to 12 months?
So it's 700 different data points meshed together. So
Yeah.
like one data point over here and one over here ain't gonna necessarily give you a 3-star, 2-star, or 1-star, right? It's the activity plus the other things that the app is looking at to get you that star rating. So no, if I'm just I Zillow search mostly because I want, like, I'm curious about the houses. You know, I'd look at the pictures more than anything else, right? Because there's some really nice houses being built around me right now. But that alone wouldn't mean I would just come up as a 3-star or a star. Okay, my question for you guys is this doable? Does 5 and 5 make sense? After all that we've talked about, do you think you can start with that? Was this helpful today?
Probably.
Very.
No, like,
Alex knows I give up really easily because
no, like, actually what I like the most about that, Debbie, is the honesty, right? Because like, I also think you downloaded it 2 years ago and nobody walked you through anything, right? And said, hey, there's this app, it's easy to use, not, right? And then what happened is you deleted it after a couple months because it didn't magic up 8 listings and it wasn't easy to understand right off. So I guess what I'm really asking is, did this clarify the understanding of the app? And with that clarification, probably is a fair answer, right? Like, if you'll probably use it, that's better than having it be deleted on your phone for the next 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think everything's for everyone either, right? Like, that's fine. I'm not like upset by that. I just want to make sure that you understand it a little bit more. You get the idea that it's targeted outreach. The real estate agent still has to do the outreach. Duh, kind of. It wasn't clear, I think, in the beginning. And then can we go from there?
Yeah, I get there's a lot of good stuff there, and like I said, I'll try it again and see, if I can. I think my challenge was getting everything in and not being able to get things uploaded, and like I said, I was busy and gave up. So
yeah, that's fair. Hey, Lynette.
My question is, okay, this was good. This is informative. Do you have like on the back office or whatever in Maxeter, are there some videos to have us start from the beginning again? Because I downloaded it like a year ago and I got it from my office up in Vancouver, Washington. So that center influence is kind of going away, but it would still be nice to keep those connections for referrals, that sort of thing. But again, I kind of need to learn how to use it.
In RU, like if you go into Mac Center and go into RU and just search first, you got tons of getting started videos and stuff like that.
Okay, as long as I'm pointing in the right directions, that's cool.
I think I'm better than the video, to be honest with you. That's fine. Everyone.
I agree.
Just think 5 and 5. If you watch a couple of videos and they get you lost, reach out to Alex, reach out to me. But then also just remember, hey, this was designed to do outreach. It's just designed to talk to people that I haven't talked to in a while. And don't get overwhelmed by anything else.
So Frank, I see the bulk edit feature for the starred contacts, but I don't see it for the all contacts.
It's not there. It's only in your starred contacts. So it's, and the reason for that, Bob, is one of those all contacts may not have been star rated yet, right?
Right.
So in very, very, very technically, the way that it works for the star ratings, it gives the highest star ratings over the past 3 months. So one of those people that are in all contact are constantly being scored. So if that changes, then they're going to pop into your starred contacts.
And if I delete someone that's a starred contact, are they completely gone out of my first app, or are they gone for now? But I'm assuming first is probably periodically scrolling my phone for people that aren't in first and re-adding them in.
Correct, but if you've deleted that contact, they're deleted. You can manually add them back in if you'd like. But like the whole point is like, if you're never going to reach out to them through the app, do delete them, clean it up. And then if, in 6 months, you're like, actually, I'm curious about that person now, you can add them in.
And so what is the process? I mean, once we import out of our phone or through a CSV or whatever, does first go back out to my phone and look for new additions, like monthly or every 6 months? Or
no, every day. So like I said, if you added a new contact to your phone, the next day it should appear because it runs it in the morning.
Okay.
So so you don't have to manually add anybody.
Now, how often does the network efficiency update?
That's pulling data from the MLS. It's not my favorite feature, Oscar, because it's based on MLS data. Some agents hate it because they're seeing their missed deals, right? And they get frustrated by it, but it's pulling. I would think that when it does the daily update, it's pulling that too, seeing if there's anything deals.
So mine hasn't updated since January, so that's why I'm curious.
Is that checkbox checked on your phone? Let me just pull up the app real quick. And then I'm sorry, Alex, I will have to skip over to something, to my next thing. But let me pull this up real fast if it comes up. So I click here, Oscar, and then I click, oh, come on. And then I click account. Is that checked? Is your import phone contacts, if that button's checked, it should be updating.
Yeah, it is, but it updates the contacts, but it doesn't update the network efficiency.
Okay, we can shoot something off to product support and just see why that hasn't pulled through. I'm sorry, I don't have back end power myself.
Okay, I didn't know if I had to do anything else.
No, we can shoot something off to product support and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, you're good, Oscar. We can handle that part.
Okay, I'm so sorry I got to jump to the next thing. I really appreciate your guys' time and your feedback today. Thank you so much. I do hope that this was helpful. And then Alex, be in touch with the list or something. I'm sure I'll talk to you today and we'll figure it out for whoever we need to get help for.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to shoot everybody on this that was on an email. Be on the lookout. I have it recorded, so I will put it up so any of us can watch it over again. And thank you for your time, Frank.
Yep, no worries.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Welcome.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.